Hello students, now we'll discuss the ingredients of the preamble, or what are the components of the preamble, right? So the preamble reveals 4 ingredients or components, as I said earlier. So number 1, source of authority of the constitution, okay, and nature of the Indian state, and objectives of the constitution, and a date of adoption of the constitution. Okay, so these 4 things are mentioned in the preamble. So preamble represents these 4 things. One is source of authority of the constitution, meaning who gave the authority to the constitution. Okay, the thing is, as we are living in the society, there should be a decision making body to take the decisions and to implement it. Okay, then how to take decisions, and who has the power to take the decisions, and how to be ruled and how to rule, all these questions are answered in the constitution. Okay, so then who gave the authority to the constitution to do that? Okay, so that authority is given by us, we the people. Okay, so the preamble states that the constitution derives its authority from the people of India. So we the people of India have given authority to the constitution to rule us, right? And number 2, nature of the Indian state. That means the definition of Indian state. How will you define the Indian state? The meaning of Indian state. Okay, so that is given in the preamble. So the preamble declares that India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic polity, right? So this is the nature of the Indian state. So if anyone asks you to define the Indian government or Indian state, you have to say that India is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. Okay, right. The next third thing is objectives of the constitution is mentioned in the preamble. So what are the objectives of the constitution? To ensure justice. What type of justice? Social, political and economic justice. Okay, liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief and worship, etc. And equality of status and of opportunity, and fraternity. Okay, these are the objectives of the Indian constitution, meaning the articles which are mentioned in the Constitution of India, or all the provisions which are mentioned in the Constitution of India are aimed at achieving these objectives. What are they? Justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Am I clear? Right. Then the 4th component that is represented by the preamble is adoption of the constitution, the date of adoption of the constitution. Okay, so the date of adoption of the constitution is November 26, 1949. Okay, so what is the date of implementation or the date of enforcement? January 26, 1950. Okay, so we celebrate January 26 as a Republic Day. So the significance of the day is, on that day we have enforced the Constitution of India. The India has become a republic. Okay, I will discuss about the meaning of republic, justice, liberty and equality in a few minutes. Okay, right. And there are some keywords in the preamble which are to be known by us. Okay, we should know them. So what are those keywords in the preamble? The certain keywords in the preamble are sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, justice, liberty, equality and fraternity are the keywords which are mentioned in the preamble of the constitution. So now we will discuss each and every keyword in detail. Okay, so the first keyword is sovereign. The sovereign indicates the nature of the Indian state, right? Then what is the meaning of sovereignty? So before moving to understand the meaning of sovereignty, let me give you a background, right? So till the passage of Indian Independence Act 1947, please do remember, it is very, very important. So till the passage of Indian Independence Act 1947, India was a dependency of the British Empire. So dependency means colony. Okay. So what is the meaning of a colony? Colony means when a territory is controlled internally and externally by a foreign territory, the former is called as colony. Yes. And the latter is called as imperial country. Am I clear? So till the passage of Indian Independence Act 1947, India was a colony of the British Empire. Okay. So from August 15th, 1947 to January 26, 1950, India's political status was that of a dominion in the British Commonwealth of Nations. Am I clear? From August 15 to 1947 to January 26, 1950, India was a dominion under the British Empire. So what is the meaning of dominion? What is the meaning of dominion status? Dominion means a country which is internally independent and externally dependent. Other way around. The external decisions, meaning relations with the other countries, is decided by the foreign country. So this is called as external dependency. So internally independent means we can control our domestic affairs on our own. Okay, so that is the meaning of dominion status. So if a country is able to look after its domestic affairs independently, and if a country is not able to look after its relations with the neighbor countries, which are external affairs, then such type of status is called as dominion status. So India had dominion status from August 15, 1947 to January 26, 1950. Okay. So on January 26, 1950, India had lost its dominion status. India has become sovereign, meaning it can take decisions, or it is independent externally as well as internally. It can take external decisions and internal decisions on its own. So that's why we celebrate January 26 as a Republic Day. So this day has a greater significance in the Indian history. Okay, right. So India ceased to be a British dominion on January 26, 1950 by declaring herself as a sovereign republic. Please try to understand. Okay. However, Pakistan continued to be a British dominion until 1956. Am I clear? India has become sovereign and republic in January 26, 1950, whereas Pakistan remained the dominion until 1956. Okay, right. Now let us discuss the meaning of the word sovereign. So sovereign means it implies that India is neither a dependency nor a dominion of any other nation. Okay, so but an independent state. Okay, so what is the meaning of this independent state, or what is the meaning of this sovereign or sovereignty? The meaning is there is no authority above it, meaning India is free to conduct its own affairs, both internal and external. External means relationship with other countries, foreign countries, and internal means the domestic affairs. Okay. So let me explain again the meaning of this sovereignty. See, before 1947, so before the passage of India Independence Act, the internal affairs and external affairs of India were controlled by the Britishers. After the passage of Indian Independence Act, the internal affairs were left to the Indians and the external affairs were under the control of the British. So that status is called dominion. Okay. But after January 26, 1950, from January 26, 1950 onwards, India has become externally independent as well as internally independent. That's why we define Indian state as a sovereign. Am I clear? Okay. So further, see, India is the member of many global organizations, many international organizations. For example, if you take UNO, India is one of the member countries of United Nations organization. Okay, so being a member in the UNO doesn't mean that there are limitations on India's sovereignty. Okay, it doesn't mean that there are limitations on India's sovereignty. Okay, so there are no limitations on India's sovereignty, though it is the member of a United Nations organizations. That means India is not controlled externally or internally by any force. It is independent to perform its actions, both external as well as internal. Okay, right. So the next thing is being a sovereign state, India can either acquire a foreign territory or cede a part of its territory in favor of a foreign state. For example, you do know about Birubari issue, okay, and areas in Jalpaiguri district of West Bengal, okay, and Radcliffe was given the responsibility to draw boundaries between India and Pakistan, and he did it in a hasty way. Okay, so because of that, there were boundary disputes in the past between India and Pakistan. Of course, there are boundary disputes right now as well. Okay, and India has ceded Birubari areas to the, it's a name of a place, to the Pakistan. Okay, so this is the example for this, that India can cede a part of its territory in favor of a foreign state. So we will discuss about Birubari case versus Union of India, okay, in our future discussions. Okay, right. In the next video, we will discuss the meaning of socialist or socialism. Okay, Indian brand of socialism. Thank you.